Hello everybody and welcome back to Purple Place, the Misadventures of Tron Bonne. In the last episode, we started out with the intro stage, meeting the leaders of the Bonne family, Master Teisel and Master Bonne, the two brothers, and also being introduced by their sister Tron, but we were playing as Teisel. And what happened was that he got captured because he couldn't pay a loan shark by the name of Lex Loth. Or Loth for short. And so, finding the I.O.U in his room, we got the premise that we must pay back the debt owed, which is 1 million zenny, or $1 million if you want to be, I guess, literal about it. And get those two back. And then before I cut out on the last part, I showed off one of the training courses, which was the attack rating one, where you would have to throw bombs at signs in order to get points and whatever. One thing I wanted to correct myself on was that there are actually 3 levels of this. I started at level 2 with Servbot number 1 because his rating was already above 1. So it really depends on where their attack is at that point. Because some have bigger attack bars and start out less than, let's say, number 1 did. You can actually see this in the corner when you're doing it because they'll say, like, level or stage 2-1, which is level 2 the first round, that's 2-1, and then so on and so on. So aside from that, what I did, just like I said off screen, is that I'd be training the surf bots, and as you can see, I got all their attack ratings up to the max except for number 8, but he was already maxed out, so there's nothing I can do anymore in terms of that training regimen. Everyone else is is like done. So course 1 is done. Real quick, I wanted to go over the stats. As you know, with the attack stat, or what you can guess, is that that's their attack strength. Some serve bots, when you throw them at enemies, usually they don't know what to do, and what they'll end up doing is grabbing onto the opponent, and I swear I keep hearing this weird noise. And what ends up happening is that they immobilize them a little bit. This is similar to Tron's beacon bomb attack in Marvel vs. Capcom, where she shoots the gun, which is actually a beacon bomb, and the serve bots will latch on to the opponent, immobilizing them. It's the same thing here, and of course, just like in the fighting game, the enemies will struggle to shake them off, depending on what enemy in the situation, and once they're knocked off, they're immobilized, so you can't spam it, obviously. But there are some serve bots that actually will have weapons on them and will attack accordingly. In order to unlock what that weapon is, you have to unlock their skill. Just as number 1 is a sniper, but that doesn't mean he has a sniper rifle or anything like that. I'm gonna get into skills a little bit more, but basically something like slings, bazooka, or grenade is what a serve bot will attack with, because that will be their skill. So when you have them on the field, they'll be able to attack in a more efficient way than opposed to mobilizing the opponents, which some opponents are not able to be like touched without the serve bot getting instantly knocked off and immobilized. The serve bots don't break, so don't worry about abusing them, but try not to. So that's the attack. Speed is what you'd guess, since all you do with them is run around like otherwise, because they follow you. The speed will help them keep up with whatever robot you're piloting at the time, so it'll be easier when, let's say, you want to have them search something and you've been walking a fair distance. They'll at least catch up with you. That way you can keep the pace going. So speed is nice, but otherwise it affects nothing. Brains, I believe, helps unlock a Surfbot's skill when it's maxed out. This one, this skill grows as you take them on missions. You can also give them a certain item, and I'll show what that is later on, but otherwise your main thing to increase brains is to take them on missions. That way they learn. Some will automatically unlock skills upon increasing their brain to the max, I believe. And some will just not, because you either have to fulfill a certain prerequisite, such as giving them a certain item, and then some don't have any skill whatsoever. If they have a question mark next to their name or next to their number, the same thing. If they have a question mark, that means that their skill is hidden, but if they have nothing, that means they can't learn anything, and that's the best that they're going to get. So like number 5 here, he can have the highest brains, but or one of the highest brains, but he learns absolutely nothing, like in terms of a skill. Brains also help Surfbots become more aware, so when you defeat an enemy or destroy an object that produces Zenny, the Surfbots will sometimes pick it up for you and bring it to you. The higher their brain, the more aware they are, so they'll go ahead and keep getting it from a farther distance. Think of it like a treasure magnet from like a role-playing game like Kingdom Hearts or Shovel Knight, when you have the treasure ink, or that treasure chalice thing that draws in money. Basically it's like that in a sense, if that makes sense. And then sloth is a different stat that you don't want to increase. Sloth, for anybody who doesn't know, is basically laziness. They always have a basic rating of 1 sloth, so you can't deplete it completely, obviously. All of it is always like the highest. There's no one that has a lower bar of sloth. The way that sloth grows is when a Surfbot is doing nothing. So if you're not taking them out on missions and you're not having them scout out on patrol, their sloth will slowly begin to increase. If the sloth increases to the maximum, then they won't feel the need to go on missions or scouting, and it's basically like a disobeying type of thing. So you have to keep them in check. And just as I said, as long as you keep them working, they will have their sloth reduced. If it increases by a rating, it'll decrease if you keep bringing them on missions. But if it becomes full, just as I said, they won't go on missions. So there is a remedy to it, but we at this point in time don't have a way of of curing that. But I believe when one of the Surfbots becomes max sloth, then you'll have access to curing that, and that's in the form of a certain room that we'll be seeing later on. But with that out of the way, I just wanted to show that off and go over the Surfbots real quick. So I'll kind of just go around the area, show off the rest of the Gesellschaft. We'll start off with the lab. This is where you'll find a couple of Surfbots that can help you enhance your performance in terms of Gustav preparation. This is where you can develop certain weapons, you can develop better armor, a higher energy gauge, basically health bar, and so on and so on. You can also buy e-bottles, which are basically like energy tanks. Obviously, number 1 would be the weakest in terms of effectiveness, and it only goes up to 2, but there are ways of making e-bottle 3 and 4. I believe one way is to complete a certain mission where they become available automatically, while another is just to have one of the Surfbots develop them by giving them certain parts. we'll be getting more into that later as well. So, along with that, we have tank parts, which I believe increases the Gustav's energy tank, which is the health again. Armor, which boosts defense. In fact, I think I can press square or circle. No, I can't do it. Never mind. Gatling parts, which develops a certain weapon for the Gustav. And bazooka parts, which is the same thing. I'll get into those when we have everything needed for them. So I wouldn't recommend buying anything on these. Maybe the tank parts, since it's so cheap. And see, number 30, gain the special skill tank development. So you can talk to number 30. If you attach an E-tank to the Gustav, it'll increase your energy supply, Miss Tron. And see, now an E-tank is available. I'm not going to buy it yet, and there's only a certain amount that you can buy, but because he now has the ability to develop more E-tanks, he's going to give you hints as to what you would need in order to get more E-tanks. If you talk to number 31 and 32, they'll be talking about the bazooka and Gatling guns, I think respectively. All they would require is that you get the parts for them, but even then that's not enough to get the weapons themselves. I'll show that off when the time comes. Number 34, let's see. You look worried. You look like you're worried about something, number 34. Well, Miss Tron, I'm trying to think of a way to improve the Gustav's armor. Do you think you could take me on a mission with you sometime? That might not be a bad idea. After all, Sirbot, to find items on missions do get smarter. Sounds like just what I need. So as you can see, that is basically also a hint to bring Servbots along on missions, that way you can improve their brains. Miss Tron, I figured out how to develop new parts. Do you want to hear how? Okay, please tell me. Alright, I'll tell you then. To develop new parts, you need to get a Servbot in charge of that part to realize his special skill, and you'll need lots of Zenny. Sometimes a Servbot won't be working, even if he has a special skill already. That means you have to find a certain item and give it to him to give him inspiration. There are also items you can find that reduce development costs. If you find one, be sure not to sell it by accident. Number 1 taught me that, after all. Well, you make sure you tell all that to number 3 sometime. Alright? Yes, Miss Tron. I don't want to brag, but did you know I can make E-balls, Miss Tron? That's because I got a special skill. I know, but you're not that special. You can only make small bottles. I know. So, everybody here has their own skill, more or less, except for number 2. He's just, oh no, he's just here. I meant to go to the storage, but cafe's fine too. It's on the way. Here you'll find number 39, 3, 26, and 21. As I look at everyone, I can see it all so clearly. Everyone's talents, everyone's skills. If only I could share this with you somehow, Miss Tron. He's hinting at, basically he needs an item, that way he can share what a Servbot might need in terms of a skill. He's a bit helpful. I don't use him all that much, but I'll show what item he needs later on. I don't have it. The chef makes the best curry. It just fills you up with energy. I bet it'll be a while before number 26 can make curry as good as this. Uh-oh, I used the wrong ingredients again. The boss is going to be really angry at me. Number 5, what are you doing? Why aren't you at your post? Oh no, Miss Tron. Lately I just feel so tired. I don't want to work. Maybe I need a vacation. Can I take the day off? No! You're just being lazy. No more goofing off. Get back to work. Yes, Miss Tron. Everyone looks forward to a nice hot meal at the end of the day. My job is to make sure they get one, and I make sure they get the best. I don't know why Servbots have to eat, because they're robots. Damn it, went to the wrong place. I never get used to navigating sometimes. And here's the storage where you can talk to these 4 serve bots. You can appraise certain items, and you can sell certain items. I may not be able to appraise things like number 14 can right now, but someday I will. I'm going to work and study real hard. That way I can help you even more, Miss Tron. Number 4, what are you doing? This isn't your assigned area. Miss Tron, I was trying to get to the cafeteria and I got lost. The cafeteria isn't this way, it's over there. Thank you, Miss Tron. I'm waiting until I stop crying so everyone won't make fun of me. Aw, see, these little guys are precious. They just cry, they have a surprising amount of emotions, and they eat. I wonder how Tron did all that. Miss Tron, if you find any items you don't know what to do with, bring them here. We'll appraise them for you. We can tell you what they're worth and what they do and how much they are worth. We can also sell items for you. So yeah, this is a good way of getting like a few extra bucks as well. If you don't know what an item, where an item goes, basically go here and ask number 14. If you give this to a certain serve bot, he can use it to help give you advice on solving missions. I wouldn't sell it if I were you. I think if you raise his brains, let me see, how big are his brains? Yeah, I think if you raise his brains, he'll be able to tell you exactly what serve bot needs what. Because in my other file, he actually told me what serve bot needs what. I know which one it is, and that's in the meeting room. The reason why you get this item immediately is because it's kind of a tutorial one. All you need to do is talk to number 37 here. Ah, Miss Tron, I'm currently engaged in the study of tactic and strategy. I'm sure it would be of great use to you once it's finished. It only has some better resources. So, if you press circle and give him the strategy notes. Well, number 37, think that will help you? This is amazing! Wait, hold on a minute. I did it! It's finished! I can see it. I understand everything. It's all clear to me now. And number 37 gained the special skill strategy. I believe I can be of great service to you now, Miss Tron. If you have any questions about how to proceed, feel free to ask me. Okay, but remember, there's more to life than just books. You need to get out sometimes, okay? So, you can talk to him and he'll give you tips. Like, what are missions about? What mission should I go on? Which surfbot should I train? What about the special skills? Tell me how to get Zenny. Tell me what to buy next, etc. And his tips do change. I've seen it happen before, so if there's something you're stumped on, it might not hurt to check him out every now and then. Miss Tron, if you want to plan a meeting, you have to select a mission from the menu in HQ, understand? And the rest don't have anything to say, but it's funny if you talk to number 35 right now. I'm gonna be drawing pictures. Really wish I could draw some pictures. Whee! Number 35, what do you think you're doing? Miss Tron, do you have a pen or something I could borrow to draw with? What are you thinking? Everyone's working hard, why aren't you? Yikes! And then he runs away. Still, he is a pretty good artist, isn't he? So yeah, he'll only come back until you leave the room and come back. There is an item for him, but we don't have it right now. And then I've already been to the gym, so in order to get back to the main HUD, you have to hit go to HQ. And I spent 19 minutes just on the introduction. Let's do a mission. Alright, so this is the interesting part about the Misadventures of Tron Bonne. Unlike the Mega Man Legends series, where it's kind of just one big adventure, where you're going, I mean, there are places where you can choose to go, but it's mainly just like a giant world of exploration. This is mission select based. So not only are you choosing where to go, but you're also choosing what type of game to play as well. Now, it won't change the game overall, it's just that there's different types of gameplay. Now, we have our action stages where we can play in the Gustav tank, which is, or just the Gustav, which is the robot we play in the intro stage. We have, and it goes for 2 of these levels right now. We only have 4 levels we can pick right now. We have the puzzle levels where the Gustav becomes a tank, the Gustav tank, and we have to move crates around and back to a certain area with a certain amount of turns. This is the mission that we'll be doing. And then the last type is the RPG, where we go into a first-person view and explore a cave, talking to people and solving traps and stuff. Which there's not really much solving. It's just a lot of talking. There's not really much of an RPG element to it. At least I don't feel. So you have RPG, so to speak. You have puzzles, and then you have actions. The Ruins is an action stage. It just says free because this is the only stage that that you can come back to continuously and do whatever you want. Each mission has a total of 3 levels, so once you complete level 3, you will not be able to go back to this area. Like, for instance, mission 1 is the bank. You'll be going around Gold City robbing the bank over and over and over, or at least attempting to, and once you complete 3 missions on here, you'll not be able to go back to the city. Same thing with the dig out caves. There's a name of it, I can't remember right now. And then the harbor. So we're going to do this, and once we complete all 3 missions here, that'll be it. So once you select a mission, alright, let's get this mission meeting started. So they always start off with a little meeting. You can just go straight to the mission, but you can get details, robot, and the servbot you're going to bring. So let's hit details first. This time we're going to Tech Harbor to bring back the freight containers there. How will you do that, Miss Tron? The Gustav can't carry something that big. Good question, but we're not taking the Gustav. Instead, we're taking the Gustav tank. Can move things as big as those containers, no problem. Yay! That means we can get all the containers. Not quite. There's a lot of containers there, but we only want those with valuables inside. We can use the other ones as steps or bridges if necessary, or just move them aside. Roger, let's go, Miss Tron. Wait, there's something else important I have to tell you. Listen carefully, the Gustav tank can only lift containers so many times, and the number of steps it can take are limited too. That means we're going to have to use our heads this time. It's like a puzzle, see? Yes, Miss Tron. So that's the gist of the mission here. And this is to showcase the robot we'll be using. For this mission, we'll be using the Gustav tank. The tank is operated basically the same way as the Gustav, except it has no weapons. To lift or set down a container, press the triangle or square buttons. To jump, press the X button. Miss Tron will explain the other rules for this mission once we get to the harbor. And then the servbot. For this mission, you'll be bringing along one of the servbots to help you. The servbot currently selected is number 1. So you can either just have it as it is, or you can change to whatever servbot you want. Like if you want number 1's brains to go all the way up, then go ahead and bring him. But if you want to increase someone else, or have someone that actually has huge brain power, then bring them instead. Let's see. Let's see, the person I want to bring. Tank dev, the bottle dev. Was it the bottle dev? No, it was him, I believe. Yeah, I'm gonna bring number 34 with me. In these missions, the other stats don't matter because one, you're not going to be attacking anybody, and speed, from what I can tell, they always move the same speed no matter what, even when I had a really speedy servbot with me. So I think those stats are ignored. It's only brains that count, because you can send the servbot into the ocean or into one of the buildings in the area to fetch like juices, lunch boxes, shells, and fish. I'll show that off in just a second, but with that done, let's start the mission.
Alright, let's get to work! We're going to load those containers using the Gustav tank I modified for this kind of work. Wondering what's in those containers? I'll tell you. Top quality beef steaks. Let's see. There's 4 containers. Miss Tron! Miss Tron! Look! Crab! It's a container full of crab meat. What? In this season? All right, we'll add that to the list as well. Roger! Even the Gustav tank can't handle big containers like these. The Gustav tank can lift containers a maximum of 8 times. I'll have to keep that in mind when I'm moving the other containers out of the way. I won't be able to carry them that far either. No more than 10 steps. But I can carry these light wooden containers anywhere. These metal ones look too heavy to move at all, though if I turn in place after picking them up, at least I can get them out of the way. I guess if I have to, I could put some containers into the sea. I'm sure I'll figure it out somehow. So, did you get all that? Not really. Weren't you listening? If we get stuck, we can start over by opening a menu with the Start button and selecting Restart. So let's give it a try, okay? I'll tell the rules again if you forget. Just press the Start button for the menu and select Rules. Let's go! Yes, Miss Tron. Start!
So that's pretty much self-explanatory there. That's one reason why I like this game. I mean, it's pretty simple to understand. So yeah, these you can only move 10 steps. If you run out of steps, you'll be stuck, and if you're not by the ship, then you'll have to set it down and pick it back up. But the way that we're going to be doing all these types of missions, we're not going to have to deal with that. But real quick, I want to show off that you can shoot a beacon bomb out in the sea, or the moving carpet. Bless these PS1 graphics. And as you can see, he caught what I think is a fish. Yeah, he caught a fish. I think he can catch another, I don't know. Let's see. Oh, I think that's a shell. Yeah, that's a shell. Which is good because we actually kind of need that. It's for later though. So what we want to do here is we want to just set that in there. One thing you want to know is, first off, although they were talking about the red container, they didn't mention how many steps it would be in order to move that. It's the same as the green container, so keep that in mind. Just having barely enough. The other thing is that you want to grab, if you're going for the red containers, what you want to do is you want to go ahead and grab those before you grab all of the green ones. Otherwise, you'll automatically just complete the round.
That's the
And just as I said, that was a round. There are a total of 3 rounds per level. So you'll have to be getting a total of 12 green containers and then 3 red containers, which are the bonus ones, obviously. So what we're going to do, see with these blue ones we can't move, but we can turn in place, as she said. And you can dump them into the sea if needed. Dumping the crates into the sea will help you create different pathways. That way you don't have to go the regular route. So we're going to move that out of the way. Your lift counter is at the bottom left corner of the screen. So keep that in mind. We're going to be using all our lifts in this one. My objective for these levels is to get all the red containers with the green containers, which makes the challenge much harder. If you're just going for the green containers, then it's not as difficult. But if you're going for the red ones, it is definitely more difficult. Come on. Yeah, that's one thing to also note, is that if a servbot's taking too long, the target will eventually fade, and then they'll just, they'll just stop going. This guy won't do anything, but if you roll up to him, he'll go back inside. They basically say the same thing every time you beat one of the rounds. Alright, so now we have a bit of a cluster of crates. I want to make sure I remember all these. This is the first level, so it shouldn't be too difficult, but it does definitely get harder over time, so, Okay, I'm going to move this out of the way. I wanted to do this quickly because I would forget otherwise how to go around all this stuff. Oh, I think I remember. Okay, I'm gonna move this out of the way. I'm gonna bring her over here. Yeah, I got all this now. And see, this is the wooden containers, and you can move it as much as you want. Yeah, a bit of a beginner's trap is that, oops. It's a bit of a beginner's trap that, like, once you get that wooden container, just get the green one, then you're good to go. But no, that's not the case. Just move it, get the red one, and then get the green one, and then that is mission complete. I wonder. Okay, no, you can't go in there. And I'll conclude this.
That's the last of the containers, Miss Tron. We got them all.
So I don't know why there's an opportunity to redo unless you want to get the red container, because that's the only reason why I would suggest redoing it. If you found it too hard and just wanted to complete it, but the red ones will give you a decent amount of zenny, so again, it's recommended.
Okay, let's head back to the Gesellschaft. Yes, Miss Tron.
Alright, let's start the post-mission meeting. Give me your report, please. We were able to sell the beef containers we got for 54,000 zenny. We were able to sell the crab containers we got for 30,000 zenny, which sums up to 84,000 zenny. These are all the things we were able to get on this mission, which was a fish, a scallop, and a lunchbox. Here's the Cerebot whose brains rating went up during the mission. Number 34 is brain. Special skill armor development gained. Armor development. Yeah, so that's why I brought him, because he wanted to go on a mission, and well, that raised his brain rating. So now he maxed out and learned the armor development ability. Here are the Cerobots who have returned from scouting. That's the end of my report. You know, now that I think about it, let me see something. Oh, interesting. Okay, so if okay, this I actually kind of just thought of, and it's actually a good idea now that I think about it, because I've never done what I just did, where he learned the armor development. Basically, if you want to get their special skills early, you can buy them, or you can do what I just did and take them on a mission. That way they can learn the development themselves. It'll help decrease the costs, so you don't have to get parts instead. So you learn something new every day, I guess. But as you saw, the armor is now available to get, which is 100,000 zenny. So pretty costly, especially since we just got 100,000 zenny. So we'll put a note on that, and what we'll do is go back, because there's nothing else we gained. I'm sorry that a lot of this part was more or less like more introduction to the area, but I wanted to get that out of the way. So now that I got a majority of things out of the way, I can focus more on doing more missions and getting more things going. So next time on Purple Plays The Misadventures of Tron Bonne, we're going to be finishing up mission 2 at Tech Harbor. And what we're going to, we're just going to finish up mission 2, levels 2 and 3. And if I have enough time, I'll probably show off the Nakai ruins, because that's a level we're going to be going to at least 3 times. And I'll be talking more on that later. But I'll see you guys next time.